We're here with NOHOCINEFEST, getting ready for another Instagram Live, this time with Paul Santoli. See if we can get him on real quick. Um, there it is. Having a conversation about movies. Okay.
Did I mess it up?
Yeah, no, I think we're okay now.
Oh, let's go.
How are you?
I'm great. How you doing? Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It still feels a little low, but maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it's just my phone, but let's just keep going.
Okay, I can.
Maybe people in the chat can let us know if they hear you okay or if it sounds really low. So, but we let's just get started. Why don't you just start by doing what we normally do? Introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the film that you're bringing to NoHo Cinefest.
Yeah. What's up? My name is Paul Santoli. I made a modern day Dumb and Dumber meets Weekend at Bernie's. It's called We Want the Virus, and it's about. He said we can hear him perfectly. Nice. That's awesome. Uh,
Perfect.
it
It's
is.
my phone then. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah. It's a modern day Dumb and Dumber meets Weekend at Bernie's about two kids that have to get COVID-19.
Yeah, I love that you make that comparison to that film. But how long? Okay, so you're already in the festival circuit for a little bit now. How long ago did you work on this? Because obviously COVID happened a long time ago. Did it start back then?
Yeah, we wrote. I started writing in. I started writing November of 2021 when we said the movie started, which is ironic because I called Daniel in December and I was in New York and he picks up and I just get right into it. I go, if you had to get COVID, like today, what would you do? And he's like, And then it began. So,
Yeah. No, it's an amazing concept, and it's funny. The film is not out yet. It's going to be at NoHo Cinefest. You can check it out there. We're playing it in a beautiful theater, so it's what the film festival is all about. Trying to promote and bring these amazing independent films in the best light possible. Especially this kind of film. It has such great energy. Your performance is fantastic in it, and you had great chemistry with the other actors as well. Tell me a little bit about just the writing process through like the casting and all that, because I imagine you may have had some people in mind, or I was just curious about that.
yeah, I mean, every phase was honestly a joy to be a part of. And I really, thank you, God, for like giving me freedom in film where, Daniel's like one of my best friends and for us to write this movie, it was great because he's never written a movie before, but his wit is he has $1 million wit where whenever we were stuck, the other person knew when to like kind of pick each other up and get each other through. And honestly, ironically, I met Cody doing extra work, and I was a pessimistic Italian in real life, and he was an optimistic East guy in real life. And I remember that was the day that the movie wasn't even written, but I was like, that's Greg. I don't know why, but I was like, that's the kid who's going to play Greg. And it just slowly started building. And I think that I kept majority of people I worked with through friends that referred people. And I think that builds that like small sense of trust and it's less of a gamble. Um, like I was on Facebook and I needed a sound guy for like an hour and I put the rate, it was like, just like $150. It's an hour worth of work. And I got crucified. Meanwhile, like, like it's just, I'm not trying to squeeze people. It's just a quick thing. I pitched what was needed. You're allowed, like Sandler in Billy Madison, he's like, a simple no would have been fine. Like, it's all good. Like, I'm sorry I ruined whatever you were doing. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
I just found this group of indie guys. We were really passionate about it, and I used to make sketches with my friends growing up, and I somehow got back to that. Let's just make the funniest thing we can as beautifully as we can, and let's see what God does with the thing. And it
yeah,
it it came out awesome. So
yeah. No, I mean social media will do that. You try to put something out there, and people will hate on it, and I yeah, I get like the whole thing that everybody wants to make sure that proper value is given, but it's not about upsetting or offending anyone. It's about making the best work possible, and that's kind of the reason why the festival is also really great, because of the fact that you're able to really meet a lot of people and have a lot of resources and connections that way to be able to make these indie films, because it's just not feasible to uh, always just be searching for like this enormous amount of money, and it's always it slows everything down, and sometimes you're not able to do it. And it's really about creating that momentum, right? That putting something in motion makes everything happen, and then all the energies and all the faith and all those things start to work together to help you create what you want to create with the people that you want to create with. And I think that definitely comes through. I mean, a comedy is obviously any film, but like a comedy feels like especially really relies on the story and the performance of their cast. I mean, because it's the timing and the energy, all that needs to align in order for the comedy to really come through. And I think that in any good comedy, there's a bit of drama, a bit of heartfelt moments, and all that. And I feel like you have a lot of that in there too. Your character is very relatable, I feel like, for people, so it helps to enhance the comedy even more. How As an actor, how long have you been acting?
So I was doing stand up at 18. My homies pushed me to go on stage, and that was cool. That was fun. I was doing that in New York for a bit, but then I started doing some sketches, and then I started taking acting classes during college. I was going to college for marketing. I played lacrosse for a year in college, but I moved out to Los Angeles in 2019 and went full commitment on that beat. But I was doing it a lot in high school and kind of deciding if I wanted to. Um, I still wanted to finish my career in lacrosse because I was good, but I was getting hurt a lot, so I had to go find my peace with that. But ultimately, 2019 till through today, uh, I really pushed to become an actor, and then after COVID hit, I kind of went back to my roots and started writing, directing, and whatever skill I needed to learn to keep me in flow. I did that, through like master classes and self-taught stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, you came in 2019, right before the world shut down, and it's this film literally exemplifies like making lemonade out of lemons, right? Because of the fact that you were basically dealing with a world that was shut down, and you're an artist who's trying to make movies that are supposed to bring people together, and that's really pretty phenomenal. I mean, I think that's what's so fun to watch and see from creative minds, and like finding these solutions and search and find resources that may not be quite as obvious, right
Yeah.
off the bat. And indie cinema does that, it really kind of puts you in that place. So I think, as a having had this experience, I'm sure you probably feel like it's probably helped you in terms of how to see your acting as a career as well, right? I mean, I'm sure I was curious, like how that's going, if you're kind of in the mode of making your own kind of roles and movies, or if you're also seeking, for to be cast in other projects.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'd love to do, as long as the work is good and it represents a good
Right.
message to the public, I'm definitely open to it. I just kind of, I'm optimistic, but I'm realistic. I know it's very hard to get acting work nowadays, so if someone reaches out and it makes sense, I'll do it. But I did kind of plan my next couple of years already where, I'm in talks with Emma about potentially doing the animated thing together. And
Yeah, that's
um,
great.
yeah, I mean, I saw her work and she's fantastic. That the short film about He Slipped, like, I mean, that was amazing. So,
Yeah, and she's committed. She came to the festival every time that, I mean, like often, and she was really like engaged in being a part of the community, and just a great artist. So I'm glad that it was working out. I hope it works out in the best way possible. We love that, we love to see filmmakers and creatives that are committed that way. It means a lot, and it also, I feel like those are the ones that are, you know, um, likely to find great success and great opportunities. Like success comes from the work, but yeah, I so right now, of course, this film is in the festivals. Are you are you reaching out to the markets with it? Do you have people looking to distribute already?
Yeah, so we actually got greenlit by Film Hub. We passed QC, and I paid for the premium one because if you don't, you get cut off of Prime, Apple, Roku, the top 10. So actually, yesterday we got approved for distribution. I'm going down a YouTube route too because there's an audience in itself, and for me
Right.
to miss out on that opportunity, like because of Mika, my first movie just hit 30,000 views in 2 weeks. Um,
Amazing.
I had it sitting on Prime for a minute, and it didn't move the way I wanted it to move. I mean, it was still great, and it got me to where I needed to go. But ultimately, I mean, 30. I just got 30,000 eyes on it, and that's going to renew We Want the Virus, and then I have a movie in post right now. So I'm trying to also connect all these movies together as well, where Non-Union has a couple of jokes for We Want the Virus, where Non-Union's an indie movie in itself, but it almost advertises 516 because I threw so much merchandise in there. So I'm always constantly trying to find lucrative, um, lucrative avenues that are adjacent to the movie where it takes pressure off of the movie if it doesn't fulfill what because if this movie ends up selling 1,000 pairs of shoes, it won. So I'm constantly just seeing, the Mark Wahlberg thing where he has 10 businesses that are working with each other at once. And I'm in the middle of building that, which has been fun so far, honestly.
Yeah, you're in the middle of filming what? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just in the middle of just building things that are connected
Oh,
to each.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know why I used the word filming. I think I meant to say in the middle of
Yeah,
building.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Um, no, that's great. I mean, you definitely have that marketing mind, I guess. So you trained with it, you study that as well, I
yeah,
suppose. And I think that's so important and something that a lot of filmmakers they don't necessarily gravitate to learning about that or to really like making an effort to make that a part of their plan. And I think we have to, as independent filmmakers, have to be creative with how we approach marketing because we don't have the millions and millions that the studios use to really get the film out there. But at the same time, there are so many resources, available that, that can be done. And it's mostly about kind of like finding the right formula per se, or finding the right situation for the particular film that you have. And that's a learning process, I think, for everyone, even experienced people have to deal with an ever-changing world of technology and all that, and so you never really know exactly what the right answer is, I guess. But the main thing, of course, is to make the best movie you can, and also put like the best intentions forward with promoting your film. Um, well, yeah, I mean, hopefully this will explode and do super well for you. But I was curious, do you have another project already that you're working on that for yourself that, kind of like this one, or are you gonna,
yeah.
take a little bit?
I want to take a couple weeks off before I like dive into the next adventure. I'd also like to do an animated movie because it'd be cool to sit in a booth for a couple weeks versus all these Ray Liotta Italian negotiations I got to do.
Yeah,
Like it's the wheeling and dealing. It's fun. It'll be great stories for the grandkids. It'd be nice to like just go to one spot and not have to negotiate with whoever. That's that's been great. But doing a movie where I can take, maybe 7 of the 20 jobs off my shoulders and just act would be great. So the animated one would be next. I have an independent movie called Non-Union based on a short film, I Can't Cry, that landed
right.
Year Festival. That's in post with Brendan Day right now. That should be coming out February of 2026. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
thank
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, we shot that in like 10 days. I went hands in on it. We kept the locations easy. We were shooting 7 pages a day where it was like
yeah,
just, and sometimes we'd exceed it where it was
yeah.
like PM and then our team's like, let's keep pushing. And I was like, dude, as long as we follow 7 a day, I go at 10, 11 days, like we're wrapped. I go, let's just, because on day 5, we're going to feel it. So like, I know we got the caffeine of day 1, day 2, day 3, like the sugar and the airheads. I know, but that's going to wear off. So
Yeah, honestly, it feels like there's these little rules that exist out there for filmmaking. Oh, shoot 4 pages a day, or things like that. And I get why that exists, and especially if the production needs to be complex with all kinds of different action scenarios, whatever that require, things to go slowly. And those are usually the big, larger budget films and all that. But in indie film, since you're relying so much on the story, the performances, and oftentimes in comedy, it's really more about that if things are clicking and you're getting a lot of pages going through, it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. And I think, in fact, the opposite. I think ultimately you're able to make a film in a little bit more efficient way, possibly, and the quality is still there. And it's just I think it's necessary. We just, in indie film, shooting for 20, 25, 30 days is almost impossible unless you're really going with the larger budget kinds of films. So that's great. I'm excited to see what you guys are putting out there with that one as well, of course, the animation. I've actually never dove into animation, so I'm really curious to hear about your experience with it. And I think it's exciting. It's very interesting. So yeah, no, I mean, you definitely sound like someone who enjoys all the creative aspects of storytelling, whether it's through live action or animation. So, well, we're excited to have you, Paul. Of course, we had a great time in New York City with our festival there, and we're gonna do it again here in LA.
Yeah, thank you again for, I mean, the New York Festival was awesome. And, we had one of my investors was there and he brought like 10 people. So
Great.
it's an honor where, 2 years ago, I remember exactly where I was standing and I was like, do you want to read the script? Because he threw me some money and he's like, no, I'll see you at the premiere. And for that to actually happen and, thank you again for the award and
Oh
the,
no, of course, yeah,
so
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I like the film so much. I had to get you to go to New York to do it.
beautiful. But March we were in LA, and then we hit New York in April, and yeah, we just won Italy last week, and
Yeah,
we still have like 20 pending. So it's doing
yeah,
what it's supposed to do, and I'm constantly praying to stop watching a seed grow and try to force it to grow. And I'm like, let me come back to this. It's the art is interesting. It's like this garden where you're constantly watering these like plants and you're like, all right, I'll come back to that movie. And it's like, that needs attention. Stop yelling at that plant, even though you think that plant's going to be the tallest. And then it's
yeah.
some projects I can't cry. I mean, we just winged it. And then all of a sudden it took off and it's like sense of
Yeah,
humor.
honestly, that to me, I remember that film, and it was very memorable. The film has a very memorable feel to it, and it's funny. I mean, the concept is funny, and I think that's kind of one of your greatest strengths, perhaps, is just like you're great at creating these concepts that are very intriguing. You know what I mean? Like the idea of we want the virus is hilarious, and I Can't
Yeah.
Cry is another one that's very funny, and I think that maybe your roots as a stand-up have help with that. I don't know, but it's really where kind of like the gem is of your work, I think, and I think investors will recognize that, and at one point in the right time when things are going to happen because they're ready to happen, it's going to blow up, and I truly believe that when you can feel it when it's going to happen, and I feel like this film is going to probably do very well, especially with all the indie kind of like things that are generating. You might not even realize yet how much it's affecting people, and sticking in people's minds, because you may not hear that from those people necessarily, but it is. And it's like I said, I can't cry. I mean, I see hundreds of films over several years with a festival, and there's a few films that stick in my mind, and that's one of them that I remember very well. And so there's value to that, and I think it's the long game in a lot of ways, and we just have to kind of keep pushing forward with what we believe in. I definitely see that in you, and it's really, really, really nice to have you with us. So excited to have you with us, man. We're gonna have a good time.
Thank you. Thank you. I grew up watching Seinfeld and I always remembered that, obviously he was in a studio, but they really leaned on the situations being so,
Yes.
like there's just such moments where it's the writing and and it's the ideas and it's the simple what ifs. And if you just play it out correctly, I mean, even with Seinfeld, they didn't even show what happened. They would just cut to the diner. He's like, "You blah blah blah," and he's,
Yeah,
no, it's like you did. They didn't even film the action. They just took it right after. It's like, you did what? Like you ate that at the car, like. And I just remembered that, and even it's interesting. Like as these things keep building, and I'm working with better equipment and lighting, I'm as a
yeah,
director, I'm always just staying true to like, all right, well, is this funny? Because if it's not, it doesn't matter if I have an Ari, if an A-lister's in.
no,
Like, is this
right.
scenario gonna work? You know?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like the how memorable little these moments become, and how much it'll stick in someone's mind, and next thing you know, someone's making jokes with their friends that have something related to something they saw in your film, and it's sometimes it's hard for us to really grasp, like how much that's really going into people's minds and hearts, you know, right off the bat, and hopefully that'll become more clear with once the film starts hitting the platforms and things like that. And I think part of the work is the festival. I've certainly heard of a number of films that have come through our festival along the way, and that then became very successful on streaming platforms, in large part because there was a bit of a buzz that was created through all the festivals that they attended, and people were excited about, and they themselves didn't realize how much it was really helping the film. There's one film where I remember the filmmakers were saying how they were in Sundance, and as they're walking down the street, they overheard people talking about their film to each
Wow.
other, having no idea that they were coming the other way, and their film was not playing Sundance.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it's one of those things where they had seen it in another festival, whatever, and they were talking about it. Just a
Wow.
random thing. It just seems like so completely, unbelievable that timing happened, and and it goes to show like how you know um, your film could be affecting and being in people's minds in a way that you may not realize yet. But that's almost like it was almost like meant to be that filmmaker needed to hear that person talking about it. It's just so
Yeah.
completely unbelievable that that would happen, especially at a festival where their film wasn't playing.
And
They
some
were there for something else.
less.
So anyway, I get really excited to hear about these stories. Whenever these success stories that kind of come about a little bit later. It feels like forever to us sometimes. Like, oh, it's already been 2 years, whatever. But like, it's real. It's still out there. It's still alive. And so anyway, well, Paul, thanks for taking some time and talk to me, and join on the Instagram Live. Always fun to talk to you, regardless. But it's really special to have you in your film with us this year, and we're excited to bring it to the audience, and it's going to be a beautiful event that night. So, um,
Dude, thank you for everything, and thank
yeah,
you for the New York screening. And I will email the team again. I got to shake them down to come through one last time because this will probably be the last LA screening for the movie.
good, okay,
And Daniel and I will be at that first mixer, and then
yeah,
I'll be there for the event regardless. And I think Daniel's coming through too because I want him to start networking with people because he's a phenomenal writer. So even
yeah.
even if he branches off, um, yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm excited and I'm honored that the movie's gonna be playing there, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, only 3 weeks away now, so we'll see you there.
See you
All right,
there.
take care. All right,
Thanks.
bye bye.
Bye bye.